Hey guys, my name is Sanjay and welcome to the Engineer Wannabe YouTube channel, which is weird for Watch Soup because, well, not really weird. We did Watch Soup for a while here.
Throwback. Yep.
Yeah, throwback. But
Throwback
normally
Sunday.
on the Bobby Legs YouTube channel. So if you guys are not familiar with it, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if by chance you aren't, it's on the Bobby Legs Loves Watches YouTube channel on Sundays at 9 p.m. But today, Mr. Legs is away. So it's up to us, Clayton and myself, Clayton from the Watchdog podcast, who is no stranger to our channel. Hey, Clayton, how's it going?
Doing well. Just yeah, tomorrow is re-entry Monday. Was off this whole week. My mom
Yeah.
and aunt came to visit from Michigan. It was a staycation, but very relaxing, very nice. Just yeah, kind of a it's sometimes nice to be a tourist in your own state, in your own home area. So that's kind of what we did. Just showed them around. There's a really cool, like they call it the Jack-o'-lantern spectacular at the
Hmm,
zoo in
yeah.
Providence. It's
Okay.
like thousands of pumpkins and really cool carvings. They'll have yeah, they had like
Wow.
an Egypt section, then you walk to like yeah, they had France and London, and they played like a music. They played like the Beatles during the London part, and yeah, it was really cool. And then showed them around Newport and everything. So yeah, lots of fun. Good to see
Yeah.
them. I haven't
Okay.
seen my mom in over a year, so it's always nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that does sound nice.
yeah.
You looking forward to work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. It's nice to be in a routine, even though like vacation's real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting back to just a normal routine is okay too. And
Mm.
I know the dogs will probably have crazy energy because they don't get exercise if I'm not around. So yeah, tomorrow should be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you hang in there. But what's on your wrist tonight?
I'm wearing the FXD. Haven't really been able to
Yeah.
take it off since I get my face out of there. I don't know if it's gonna work.
In
But
honor of our friend Mike from This Watch, That Watch?
right, right, yes,
Yeah, it's
uh,
the
when all the I was a little out of tune with videos released this week just because I wasn't, just I was busy with, mom and
yeah.
everybody, so, yeah, so when all else fails, we go to our new guy, This Watch, That Watch, so
Yeah. I've actually been addicted to his videos and
yeah,
his
I've caught
his
up
page.
on he's been around for a while, so he has a nice catalog to catch up on, so,
Okay. I haven't looked back. I've been kind of getting them as they come out, but I should
yep.
look back, see what other thoughts he has.
How are
Um,
you?
good, good. Today was a weird-ish day. It was kind of cold, and the kids wanted to play soccer, so we were out there playing soccer, inventing weird games, like, the kids were on a swing set, and the game this new game that the kids came up with was you have to kick the ball at the person at the swing who's swinging, and the person on the swing has to dodge it.
Oh, wow.
So, that coulda gone wrong. That coulda
Yeah.
a couple of times, um, especially because they got me to kick, and I kind of forget that I'm not to brag or anything, but I have a bit of a powerful kick, and a few times it's just gone whoosh right past the kid, thankfully, I learned to dial it back by the time we got into the games group, but
That has
it was
"trip to the
fun.
emergency room" written all over it.
Yeah, I don't know how my kid lost all his teeth.
Just have, like, the kid swinging really high and, like, still feels, like, the urge to dodge the ball, so just jumps off because kids don't really
Oh, no.
understand, like, and then yeah.
No,
Hopefully,
we
there was
I this
sand
is
on the bottom.
yeah. This is in our backyard, so it's one of those Fisher Price swing sets,
Okay. Oh, so it's not
They
like
can't
oh,
yeah.
I'm thinking, like, this gigantic swing set.
No, 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 no.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
An adult game to play.
right. We should do that. But, yeah, on my wrist is, in honor of you, the Seiko
Ah,
SJE.
yeah.
Yeah,
We are SJE brothers, no more.
no
Uh,
more.
I recorded half of a podcast today and hopefully the other half maybe tomorrow and I'll release it, but, talking all about that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I gotta catch up. I started listening to the one with Chaz,
yes.
um, and that was a lot of fun to start off, but then I fell asleep, so I had to rewatch or re-listen to that. It was one of the ones I was listening to while going to bed, but Yeah,
Yeah.
really
Hopefully get
enjoyed that
that
one.
out tomorrow. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Chaz is a lot of fun. We had fun with
Yeah,
Orange Now
yeah,
watches.
yeah, yeah. Let's say hi to everyone in the chat. Guys, let us know what's on your wrist. It would be cool to know this evening, this fine Sunday evening. Uh, Cabby Lake is here. Says enjoyed your episode with Sanjay quicker than drawing. Reinhard was on last night, so that was
Yeah, I have
that was
to
a lot of
watch
fun.
that. Yeah.
You should. We talked about you.
Oh, geez. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, just we were talking about Rolex and his Rolex collection. And I was kind
Wow.
of relaying your experience with ADs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were chatting a bit about you, if your
Oh,
ears were burning.
oh. They were. Yeah, we watched a spooky movie last night,
Oh,
so,
okay.
a fun one called, Totally Killer. It's on
Oh,
Amazon. It's sort of like, Back to the Future meets, like, a slasher movie, so, that was
hmm,
fun. So,
yeah,
yeah.
sounds interesting. Time travel, I'm guessing.
Yep,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Bruno, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you. Hey, James, good to see you. Mez9 is here. Wayben, how's it going? Been quite a weekend of watches here in New York. Yes. Um,
Oh,
jealous.
yeah,
We're
me
jealous.
too.
Seems like a good time that you guys have been having. Javier, first, hey, nice to meet you. Hope you're doing well. Underachieving Watch Collector, how's it going? Kevin Hawthorne is here as well. Um, Javier is saying, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, my friend. Great time with the watch events here in New York City. That's cool. Glad you got to enjoy that as well. Keith Beecham says that FXD has grown on me. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
the black one's the right one.
Yeah, I tried the I said it on here, I think. I tried the blue one on this summer and could have bought it. The timing just wasn't right, and then, I don't know. I think had I loved the blue and, like, the bidirectional bezel and all that, I probably would have, bought it, but I
Mm,
still thought, like, one day I probably will because it just wore so great, and then when this black one came out, to me, it was a no-brainer. I understand, like, people feel like the MN is still the OG and, this I've seen people say, like, this black one's just catalog filler for
hmm,
Tudor or something, but I don't know. I think it's still quirky enough that it has, even though our friend, This Watch, That Watch doesn't necessarily agree, that just for the simple fact it has fixed bars, but,
mhm.
I still like the 60, click unidirectional bezel and the traditional timing bezel, more than that, but yeah, both awesome.
Yeah, yeah. J Thor seems to like that FXD as well.
Thank you.
Undertuned Watch Collector is wearing a G-Shock Frogman. I'm guessing G-Shock.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Mark BKLYN in Brooklyn. I'm guessing. Hey, how's it going? Hope you are well. Oh, nice. Javier is wearing the Longines Hydro Conquest USA exclusive gunmetal. Very nice.
Ah,
I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look it up. James wearing the original Sarbo 65. Oh,
wow.
very nice, James. Hey, Walt is here as well. Greg is here. Good to see you, Greg. Um, Mez9 is wearing the Ranger. Very nice.
Cool.
Brownie's here. Good to see you, Brownie. Seamaster 300 professional, non-wave dial tonight. Very nice. Hey, Reinhard. Good to see you. We were just talking about you not too long ago.
I'm going to listen
Um,
to that, tomorrow morning, your live
yes.
stream. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was a good chat. Reinhardt has a very interesting stories. So, um, Young Excellency, I don't think I said hi to you. Hello, hello. Sarks095, very nice on the wrist, on his wrist. Oh, Greg is wearing the Ultracron. That's rare.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Um,
I
yeah,
had some time with that last fall, borrowed it for a little bit,
yeah.
from a
I
friend. Yeah.
I didn't like it at first, but when I saw it in person, there was just something about it made me wish I could pull it off. Don't know
I
if
don't
I
think
still
I
wear
could
it
pull it
often.
off either.
No?
No, I wore it for about I wore it for almost a week here and there, like, off and on, and,
Mm.
yeah, just a little top heavy for my liking, but if
Okay,
you have
okay.
the wrist to pull it off, it's I had no problem with the watch itself, loved it actually. Really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
The sweep, was amazing, and yeah.
yes, yeah, 10 beats, right?
Yep.
High beat. Yeah, very nice. Alright, so we were talking about this watch, that watch. Do you wanna start with that one?
Sure. I always
Wow,
forget
so
every time we do one of his videos that, the note taking is a real challenge.
extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a outline, I I don't quite have an outline for his video, but, I was thinking we could kind of chat about Tudor, but, just to kind of outline the video, he was talking about, what the future is like for Tudor, and he, as usual, starts from the beginning, what Tudor
Yep.
is. Not quite the story you hear 2,000,000 times, like, Hans Wilsdorf made Tudor um, to be an alternative to, yada, yada, yada. He didn't quite get into that, but more like modern Tudor, um, is what he was talking about. Why is Tudor selling so well? He got into that. He got into some of the undesirable Tudor models, and some shots were fired at my beloved Royale. You know,
Yes.
I
I have that written down. I was gonna
yeah,
tread lightly over that. I
we're,
disagree.
we're
I love the Royale too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he just straight up called it a ladies' watch. You
Yep.
know, just even the 41.
Undesirable ladies watch.
Yeah, yeah, and some dislike there coming up, but he talked about that, and he talked about the future. I don't know if you want to kind of add to the outline of the video,
Yeah,
but
I took, notes. I have a whole, thing here if you want me to
yeah,
go into it.
yeah, if
Um,
you'd like to.
yeah, so, yeah, you kinda covered the beginning part. He, was the working man's Rolex, used Rolex parts, designs, on older Tudor watches. You will see, Tudor signed crowns, the crown on the case back, and I know, I'm in another group, and somebody who's just learning about watches, thought that might be a fake or something, and, he
Oh,
asked questions, and, no, it was like, Tudor routinely did that on their older watches. Yeah, and he said, he named a bunch of the watches that are popular. In the present, they have succeeded. The Black Bay and Pelagos sell very well. And then he mentioned like at the right time, you know, um,
mm,
and they went into Panerai a little bit. They were at the right place at the right time. It was a big watch craze, and Stallone, like macho guys, were photographed wearing these huge watches, so they capitalized on that. And kind of the same thing for Tudor, small watch craze a little bit, and they've sort of catered to that, and also the vintage inspired trend that's
mhm,
popular, and Tudor's been all over that too. um, he talked about their 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 designs are broadly, appeal to, to everybody really. They're not reinventing the wheel by any stretch, and that's a good thing for mass appeal. If Pete, I was thinking of, like, sometimes I think of Pete McConville when I watch his videos, and I know Pete would counter with like, well, they've been stagnant in sales at 15, for the last 3 years. Tudor's stale, they're stagnating. So I always think of that, and like, maybe the hype we hear isn't, doesn't really correlate to how well they sell. I don't know, but I always think
mhm,
of Pete
yeah,
with that. But and then you talked about the prices are great, like this, even this FXD. I think at the price it's like, it's really good. And,
mhm,
even the Alenghi models are even less expensive, even, with a co-brand, and that kind of thing. You'd think like, oh, they have to jack up the price, right, to
mhm,
use the license or whatever it might be, to use Alenghi and the Red Bull logo and all that. No, they're like less expensive. So I think Tudor does a lot of the pricing stuff well. Um, I don't know how far you want me to go into this. Yeah, I have here that, their lineup is pretty good right now too. The marketing's good. There's not a whole lot of cannibalism. He'll get into that later. They're on the verge of maybe doing that a little bit, but you have all kinds of different sizes. You have a few different designs of divers. I think that's pretty. I personally think that's good. Yep, he said the Royale. This is where they need improvement. Royale isn't as good or relevant as it could be. It's a subpar offering, he said.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, the glamour in the 1926 are forgettable. I think the 1926 is like if you're young and you're starting your first job and you want like a nice watch, like I don't know, if you have the wrist for it, maybe they're a little big, but like I don't know. I think that's a great young professional's first watch. I really do. If you go into the authorized dealer just looking for like a nice watch,
mhm.
I don't think you can do much. You can do much worse than the 1926. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
quite I don't quite like the 1926. I don't know if it's just, the negative space or the bolder, more in your face Tudor logo, which,
mhm.
the larger it gets, the less the typeface is kind of aesthetically pleasing to me at least. Then it seems just a little too big. The logo just seems too big, and at least in the larger models of the watches that I've seen in person, kinda turned me off in the 1926, so
The pattern might not be for everybody on the
yeah,
dial, also, and I think like maybe the blue one looks a little cheap, like the one with the blue numerals and the blue hands, on the white,
yeah,
like, maybe if you like that color combo, maybe it just doesn't resonate. I would probably go I think they make, like, a gilt one that I like more than that, but,
yeah,
I'll just go through a few more things that we can chat about Tudor. He
yeah.
does think the website is a bit of a mess.
Hmm.
You know, the Royale is a sport watch. Uh, you know, all these things are sports watches, but the Black Bays aren't. They are like
Oh, yeah,
Black Bays.
yeah.
So he said, you know, it's rough when it's confusing to us, the customer, when the website's a mess because we don't really know how to categorize everything, and it's also just confusing to a brand's mission statement. I think they're still okay. Brands like Omega I think are all over the place with all because they just the sheer volume of watches they offer, and like maybe Grand Seiko too, just because they have such a vast catalog. And then
And they
there's
seem
room for
to sorry, just to add
oh
on Grand Seiko, things seem to just disappear off the website too quite
yeah.
frequently, especially when something gets a little older. Grand Seiko is willing to kind of, "Hey, forget all about that thing, that never happened." Kinda thing going on.
Do other
Yeah.
brands like I guess you do hear about like other brands discontinuations, right? Like
Yeah.
Grand Seiko just it's gone.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
with Omega, you get to still see, um,
Yes, right.
the older models, right?
Okay,
They'll
yep.
just say, "This product is no longer,
Yep.
being offered." But with Grand Seiko, it just says, "Page no longer exists," or something crazy, right? It's just completely wiped off the face of the earth. So
I
I've
think Rolex
actually
is known for that too, just completely
Oh, yeah,
having
that's true.
stuff off their website that they don't offer anymore.
Yeah. I've actually taken to printing out the website of watches that I purchased from Grand Seiko on the off chance that it would be one of those 10-year keepers, you know?
Yeah, new man.
Yeah. So I have a little binder full of watches that could have been, but didn't quite. But, yeah. At least, in the future, there will be a compilation of watches that no longer exist on their website at least. At least now we got the watch blogs that
Yeah.
keep a keep a close tab on watches that may come and go.
Well, you
So,
can offer to be Grand Seiko's archivist and show them, this and offer your, notes for their maybe they'll have, like, an archive section of their website.
yeah, there you go. I'll probably get sued into the Stone Age.
Yeah, it may not turn out the way you want it to.
Sorry to
Just a
interrupt.
couple more
Yeah,
oh gosh, no
yeah,
problem. A couple more things and then we'll move on.
yeah.
Yeah, he said, you know, room for refinement. A lot of the watches are too thick. You know, we know this with the
Mhm.
chronographs and even like the GMTs, slab sided. They're just thick. They're moving towards Metis now. The T-Fit clasp is a huge upgrade. Um, Another side thing, I saw Esquire in this. I don't know if this is true. Allegedly, Esquire released ahead of Dubai Watch Week a picture of the updated Black Bay 58, and this does not have the red triangle. It looks very
Oh,
similar to the 54, except it does have the graduations to the 15 on the bezel.
oh,
But it does
interesting.
clearly say under this picture, Black Bay 58. and it's not
Yeah,
the 54 because it does have the different bezel, and it
right.
lists the price and the dimensions and all that. So that's going around online. I have no idea if that's true, but I'd be
Yeah.
disappointed if it is because it also kind of loses the gilt too.
Oh.
So it's
So,
interesting that they'd upgrade that watch, but I guess maybe it's time 2018, right? So
yeah,
5 years.
yeah. Was Mike talking about this model or
No, this
did
is just something I saw.
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is something I saw, and we were discussing it in a watch group I'm in. And I think
Yeah,
all of us were kind of left flat. If that's it, I who knows? This could just be an online Photoshop thing. Who knows? But
yeah.
I saw it from a couple different sources that Esquire accidentally leaked it.
Hmm.
So who
That's
knows?
interesting because then it would probably have the T-fit clasp in it, right?
Yes. Yep.
So,
But it really
oh,
looks very similar to the 54 because it's kind of the same kind of color scheme. Silver,
yeah.
not really gilt, and then the, no red on the triangle, so,
Wow, interesting.
well, that's a yeah, I mean, he talked forever, so that's enough notes. How do you feel about, we've both owned several, this FXD, I make a bold statement in my yet to be released podcast that, I have this comfortable hook and loop strap on it. This could be my signature watch to wear. Um,
Oh,
it's,
going little McMahon on us.
pajamas for the wrist, the strap, so, yeah, I don't know, but, yeah, I don't love everything Tudor does, just like I don't love everything, but I've always had great luck with their watches, personally. I know not
Yeah.
everybody has, and not everybody has an affection towards the brand, but I always have, and I think you like them generally too.
Yeah, I do like Tudor. I was gonna ask you because it seems like the common consensus, in our circles at least, is that Tudor is, you know, when you feel really weak, you end up buying a Tudor, and
Right.
it's never really, uh, worthy of a collection. There's just some something about it, at least so, most of our friends seem to share the sentiment that something about it is just not, it's not, a solid piece of someone's collection. It's
Yeah.
more of something that's just a placeholder. Like, um, I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm pretty sure I disagree with that. Uh, because my Pelagos 39, I don't think there is an equivalent for the Pelagos 39 that I really, really like. I don't
Yeah.
think there is like it the sub is just it's not the same watch. It's not a replacement for the sub. I don't think it's a replacement for any of Rolex's offerings, and I think the Pelagos 39 and the Pelagos FXD, I think they really stand firm on their own 4 lugs, as Tim Masso would put. Uh, but, I do get that idea with the Black Bay 58, which is why a lot of people the argument is that the Black Bay 58 is one of the most resold watches because people
Yep.
purchase it, but then it just goes right like, people own it for a few months, and then it goes back on the market. Did you have any thoughts, yay or nay, about Tudor being one of those placeholder brands
I
rather
think
than
so.
something
I've owned,
Yeah,
like, 3 different, I've owned what, 3 different, variation I've owned the black BB58 twice, and then I've owned the
mm,
925 and the bronze. I think I think this happens with certain watches because a lot of us are impulsive, we sell to buy the next one. So I think there's always the comfort like, "Well, I can get rid of the Black Bay 58 because if I ever want another one, they're very easy to come by," right? So
yeah,
they're sort of like the sacrificial lamb when we're doing these watch deals. And I think
yeah,
a lot of people, let's be honest, as Dib might say, we buy them to pad the purchase history sometimes, right?
right,
They're very nice watches. They're like Mike said in the video, they have a broad appeal. They're a vintage
mhm,
style diver. Like, who doesn't like that? We all like that. So, but yeah, I think, and maybe there's also like a little. I've said it before. Maybe they're like a little too perfect too, like the BB58. Like to the point where it's boring and it's just like, yeah, this is so great, but man, it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. So I'm just gonna
yeah,
move it along to get the next thing. The FXD, I think it's even this one that's maybe a little more close to like a regular watch than even the MN version because it has a little more traditional dive watch characteristics than the MN does, but I still
Mhm.
think there's enough like quirky here. You like CWC and Tudor are doing fixed bar watches. Like who really else? I'm sure there are other brands that do it, but off the top of my head, like mainstream brands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the FXD and like the 39, like you said, there's not a whole lot of competition out there for those specific watches. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
you're getting a lot. You're getting an in-house movement for I mean, the Black Bay 58's a steal, even if you buy it new, but gosh, pre-owned, you can get those for under 3 grand now, like, that's just yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
how inexpensive they are. I mean, gosh, Delray, Fed had an FXD, I think, last week for, like, 3,500, like, that's a
Wow.
no-brainer if you're looking for that watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MN?
Yeah. See if he
Wow.
still has it.
Yeah. I think I've heard, Andrew Morgan mention that too, what you mentioned about the Blackberry 58 being too perfect. Andrew Morgan,
Yeah.
is from Watchfinder.
Yep.
No, watch it. Sorry. Um, yeah.
Talking hands
So,
guy.
yeah, Talking Hands guy. He's mentioned that too, and I think I do understand that sentiment as well. But let's get back into the chat, and maybe it's a good time to move on from this video so that we can make the rest of our collection
I'll butt
video.
in real quick. Yes, he did. I
Yeah.
can't see the price, but yes, they did sell Delray on their sold watches. Did sell that FXD. It was an MN, the blue, 2022 on the case back, and I think it was like 3,600, 35, 3,600. Which I mean, come on, no wonder it sold fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Lowest price
yep, lowest
in
price in the
all of
country.
in the country. Yeah. The best place for a watch enthusiast to
Buy a watch.
yeah, something like that. It's very
Uh,
good. Let's see. Quicker than John Reinhardt's wearing the Kermit Mark II still. Very, very nice. Uh, Javier mentioning you wore the Tissot PRX Digital. Hey, that's nice to meet someone who owns the
oh
PRX
yeah.
Digital. Yeah. I know I didn't have the most favorable uh, initial impression when I saw that, but yeah, he's mentioning that should check it out in person
I'm
before
glad it
going to the
exists.
customer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
options are good.
Yep.
Oh, asking when Britt's going to join us. So this show is not quite having guests per se, where we
Oh,
just kind
yeah.
of sit and chat about the videos.
We don't have the budget
Uh,
for that.
yeah, yeah. We're just hanging out here, so talking about videos. Everyone in the chat kind of chimes in as well. Usually we have another co-host, Mr. Bobby Legs, who is a great fun to be around as well. So not quite having guests, which would be cool though, maybe in the future.
We've come close a couple times when like, because a few times people have had rebuttals to
Yes,
our,
Paul Thorpe.
commentary on the yeah, Paul Thorpe was we're so I think you had spoken to him maybe about joining us at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got ghosted after a while though.
Okay,
He,
yeah.
he didn't want to comment, but he didn't. MD Chaz, hey, good to see you. Says Royale is a steel day date for only 25.25. It's a great deal compared to the
Yeah.
competition. Yeah, for sure. The Ordinary Watches, hey, nice to meet you. We have limited budget, hard to pick up 1926 over something like a Black Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, James saying, oh, FXT heading into signature watch territory.
Yeah, I know. Next month I'll probably sell it and be on to something else. But I don't know, these hook and loop straps that Hans Wilsdorf turned me on to. They're very inexpensive on Amazon, and they are just so comfortable. Like I don't know, it's just kind of a like very little desire to wear anything else right now. So just one day at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just so comfortable. It's not like a I don't know. You have you seen the FXD in person?
Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not as light as you think like compared to like the end No Time to Die, for instance, which is a
Right.
very light watch. The FXD does have some heft to it, but
Yeah.
still lighter, light enough.
I've only seen it once, and I can't quite remember what the weight was like, but, I remember being really impressed with how wearable it was for
Yeah.
that
Oh,
51-ish lug to lug.
yeah.
There's
It
something
wears
weird
like a
going on.
dream. It wears like
Yeah.
a dream. Yep.
Yeah, and I had written that watch off until I saw it, but,
Mhm.
I mean, it's still written off, I can't wear it, but it's more wearable than I thought.
Yeah,
My
definitely.
wrist is just too small. Um, Keith Beecham saying Tudors are actually some people's grail.
Yep.
And Greg also saying Blue Dial Pelagos that he owns is equal to any watch that he has worn.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think there is the thing we were talking about, at least the perspective or the opinion of some of the circles that we hang around in. It seems like it's more of the brand identity, not the quality of the watch. I
Right.
think I think the quality of of the watch is really hard to beat. Tudor's value proposition is almost insane. And we've heard that with Watchfinder as well, right? Like the
Yeah.
BlackBerry 58 is the biggest bargain, um, if if you're in that market, that is. So there's something about the brand that feels a little hollow to a few people. I'm not quite sure why. I would like to maybe press a few people who hold that opinion, and have a conversation. We should do that at some point.
Yeah, we should, like a Tudor round table. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
on a
I
Saturday night.
think, like, everybody says, like, "I wish they were doing original, like, the North Flag again," but, I mean, they discontinued them for a reason, they didn't sell, so,
Yeah.
like Pete McConville will say, like, "We don't often put our money where our mouth is. We say that we want these things, but then we don't buy them."
Mm,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I think that gets said about Tudor a lot. So they're doing what sells now, and it's not as exciting to some of us. I'd actually thought I'd possibly moved on from Tudor because I'd had the BlackBerry 58 in its many variations, and I was like,
Mm,
I'm not sure there's anything else quite for me. Like the chronographs are just a little too thick.
mhm.
Um, and then the FXD. I always wanted to try one on. I just never thought I would, and I didn't want to buy it blindly because I was a little concerned about the dimensions. Um, but boy, getting to try it on this summer, like, okay, yeah, I will own one of these. And then when the black one came out, I was like, yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Mike here saying Mr. Wonderful would disagree with us. Apparently, he loves Tudor and owns
Oh
3.
yeah, that's right.
I did not
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah, he released a video this when he talked about how he's into well, he said he's into all these like inexpensive brands now. Tudor was a maison. He you're not a collector unless you own 3 pieces. So he bought 3 pieces from like all
Oh,
these brands. Yeah.
yeah. Does he have 3 Longines yet? Because he's always talking about that maison.
I don't know. I feel like yeah, has this need to buy 3 like right out of the gate. So I think he said he did that with Tudor. I think he bought the 925. Trying to remember what else
Okay.
he bought. But yeah, he loved the 925, I remember from that video.
Hmm. Interesting. I gotta watch that.
Oh, what was the other
Um,
brand because I think we joked about, like, he must have lost a lot in crypto because he's collecting, Tissot or yeah, it was like some of those
Making
brands.
Tissot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he made a whole, like yeah.
Wayben says, "If I got a Tudor, it won't be a placeholder. I positively want a Back Bay 58 bronze." Oh, so good,
Great
Wayben.
watch.
So good.
Yep. We both owned
Um,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
Don't know when I'll get to it though. Yeah. I miss it. It there was just something about it. It was so much fun. Um, and yeah, I miss it. I don't think I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell if I'll buy it again. Chances are pretty good I might.
We're seeing other people like you're terrific, Evan, just and Mike here in this watch that watch. They each have the Alinghi FXD chronograph now, and I mean Evan has
Oh,
a killer collection, and he's still adding Tudor watches. Um,
yeah.
so I mean he's got he's got Rolex, he's got a Plo Prof. I mean he's got some
Mhm.
heavy hitters, and he's still adding them. So,
Underachieving watch collector saying, "I'm sure the guy who sold the FXD to Fed got a big haircut." Not
oh
only did
gosh,
he get a big haircut, I'm sure he got a bath. I'm sure he got hosed down,
yeah.
and a couple other couple other euphemisms.
A few I probably shouldn't say, but yes, he's yeah.
Now, hosed down means he got scammed, right? That's probably
Yeah,
not a correct
yeah,
euphemism.
that's yeah,
A bath is probably yeah, he got a
yeah,
haircut and a bath. Um,
yep.
okay, so let's keep going.
Yeah,
We're
geez,
actually
boy.
yeah, we could do this all night. Um, let's, switch to, Britt's video, Britt Pearce's video. I always wanna call her Watch Gringa. It's hard to break that habit, but, um, yeah, I'll take the lead on this if you don't mind,
Yeah,
Clayton.
please.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this video from Britt, uh, mainly because there was a lot of anecdotes. I don't know if a lot of people do. I'm sure people do this. Even Teddy Baldessar, when he does these kinds of videos, right? But every once in a while, maybe he'll throw an anecdote. But for the most part, it's just a overall general word of wisdom kind of thing.
Mhm.
There's no anecdote to go with it. Hey, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Okay. But here there was stories. It was rich. Every
Yep,
point was rich with a story, and I
yep,
really enjoyed this video. So if you guys haven't watched this yet, I highly recommend this video. It was a lot of fun. I won't I won't go word for word what Britt said, just so that you guys should go watch it. But four signs she quickly mentioned was um I think it'll lead in well to the next video too. But first one was if it will make the next couple of months financially tight, you should not do this. The next one was don't buy a watch you don't really want, especially if you can't make something happen. Uh, and the third time is don't buy a watch if you want it for the flex, or because of hype. And the fourth one was don't buy a placeholder watch.
yep.
So all really, really good advice for watch enthusiasts. It's easy to fall into all these traps. I think I fall into all of these traps.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I have absolutely bought a watch, and I continue to, I think, um, live a life of great privation to be able to
Yeah, you're
to be able to
hardcore. You skip
yeah,
meals.
well, not quite. I
Good.
will skip if I have to. Like, if I didn't pack a lunch, I will skip the meal.
Yeah,
I won't buy food, to make up for that. But, I don't recommend that to anyone, and it's mainly because and I should add, just, so you guys know, this is only when it comes to me.
yeah.
Like, I won't put my family through hardship
Right,
to
right.
make my watch collection work. It's more of, if I make a foolish mistake, I will not throw money at that problem to fix the problem on my end, right? Um, but this is something that I do, and I'm okay with doing it. Uh, I think she mentioned something about needing the money that she had saved up for something else. Again, not don't want to spoil it because it was such a great video.
Yeah.
But for me, I actually do the opposite because I we have an emergency fund, and that emergency fund, in a sense, is also like the float for the watch fund,
That's why I love
right?
you.
Yeah. So a watch that comes up to me is an emergency, right? Like if I'm waiting on a watch and it comes up, that's an emergency. So you put the money towards that watch and then refill that fund as soon as possible.
Yep.
Um, but at the same time, I'm willing to sell everything if something crazy happens. But yeah, the second one, I don't know if you want to comment on that first one. Don't don't put yourself in financial stress for a watch.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, I
something
think
you
we've all done that, like, to a point where we just get a little like, even the FXD, I was expecting to have to wait a while, and then she said, "It's
Yeah.
yours if you want it." And I could have said, "I'll take the next one," but, I didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, I mean, we're fine, but, like, my wife would probably prefer I didn't, buy a $4,000 watch, even though I warned her. But, yeah, we're uh, never dire straits or anything. We pride ourselves on we pay off our credit cards, like, every month,
Mhm.
no matter how much, like, even with a surprise FXD on there, that thing gets paid off, and,
Yeah.
we can comfortably do that. We're very fortunate. We feel very lucky and fortunate to be able to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, watches have never gotten in the way of paying all of our bills on time and having an emergency fund. And I like you said, the stories she threw in, I'll try not to give anything away, but a YouTuber being, like, really honest about finances and saying,
Mhm.
like, she
Mhm.
rejected 'cause sometimes and I'm sure people feel like this about us, like, we just, keep adding these watches, right?
Yeah.
And, like, not everybody can do that, and sometimes I feel like, boy, these people on YouTube are just must have endless, bottomless watch budgets because 'cause they're just adding, like, killer watch after killer watch. So, it was refreshing to hear her say, like, she actually had to turn down a couple Rolex calls that she got that she really wanted, that she
Yeah.
asked for, and,
Yeah.
she had, some other things come up, that she needed some money for, emergency, like, life things. So, I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty fun and, pretty cool to hear her be honest about that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The second point, she had mentioned buying a watch that you don't really want. Have you done this? I would love to hear if you have.
Trying to think, I don't know, like, feeling, yeah, I'm not sure. Have you ever
Yeah?
felt pressure to like, you go to an authorized dealer and I'm okay walking out, I think. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if I've ever done that, like, "We don't have this, but we can buy something else," or just to, like, curry favor with an authorized dealer or something.
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I do this constantly. Like, it's, because I go in with multiple plans, right?
Yeah.
When I go to purchase a watch, if, we can't quite come to an agreement on a deal, um, I have plan B, plan C, and because of that, those watches are not the watch I really want. They're contingency plans, and they're, because I don't wanna walk out empty-handed. I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting better at that now, but I did this way too much, at least in the past. I am definitely getting better at being able to walk out if I don't get the watch that I want. Um,
Yeah.
but, as a specific example, I would think, um oh, there's so many. I'm gonna say which one am I gonna pick? I'm gonna say maybe the Oris, one of many Orises, but, Big Crown, not Big Crown. The Pro Pilot with the big date.
Mhm.
That's definitely one of those consolation pieces that I've bought in the past. Um, yeah, I can't quite think of anything else. I know there's quite a few Grand Seikos.
Well, you
Um,
live so close to your all the heavy hitter authorized dealers I use are not close to me, really, like
yeah.
the place in New Jersey and then Topper, who I've bought a lot of watches from. If I lived, like, you know, 10 minutes from those places, yeah, we'd be having a different conversation. I think I'm like
Yeah.
so if I was in your shoes, I would do the same, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but, it's not worth it. So don't do
Don't do
it.
it.
Don't do it. Listen to Gringa. Listen to Brit.
Yeah, retail
Uh,
therapy. I think I've done, like,
yeah,
I've done the retail therapy thing, I think, but
yeah,
it's stuff I wanted, but
yeah.
usually I just eat ice cream when I'm sad.
Right. Yeah, that's a very healthy coping
Yeah.
mechanism. The third one is don't want it, or don't buy it because you want it for the flex or for the hype. Have you fallen in the hype trap?
Probably, trying to think. Yeah, I know this is like I don't know if it's a hype thing, but I probably bought a Speedmaster for the wrong
Yeah.
reasons because everybody said, like, "You need one of those in your collection," and
Right,
I
right.
fell for that, and it's just not a watch that resonated with me, and so, and I knew that. I never was really that into it. Even
Yeah,
before when I saw one in person, I liked it a lot more than I imagined I would, and that's why I think I bought it. But I think there was a lot of that, like, every watch collector worth his or her salt has a Speedmaster, so I think that would probably be the but, like, yeah, like, if I got offered, I don't know, like like a Rolex that is too large for me or something, like, I would say
mhm,
no, even though it's desirable. I'm not gonna wear, like, I don't know, Sea Dweller or something. It just does not it's comical on me, like, that's a lot of
yeah,
money just to I would say no.
yeah,
So,
yeah. For me, I think it was there's quite a few. I could pick on Oris again. The Oris Caliber 400,
oh, yeah.
that was super hype, like, and I was allowed to purchase it before it came out, and I was beside myself. I was so excited about it. I was like a super Oris fan back then. Um, and uh and yeah, I was so excited to get that. I probably shouldn't have, or I should have waited. The white birch, I think, is another one that comes to mind. That I think was pretty closely related to me trading the Railmaster in to get that white birch. I can't quite
Mm.
remember if that was the case, but yeah, some severe mistakes have been made.
I have, like, the John Mayer G-Shock. I remember I like that stuff, but that's not very
Yeah.
expensive, but still, that one I like. I remember it sold out in minutes, and I remember I tried real hard to get the first one.
Mm, mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why, but
not the Ed Sheeran
yeah.
one.
Fourth one is don't buy a placeholder watch. Have you done placeholders watches thing this
Again,
year?
like, I bought a lot of watches, so, I don't, trying to think, um, if I ever have, no, I don't know that I have. Have you?
Um, I think I have. I don't
I don't consciously
No, I
do it,
don't
but
think so.
I have, like, this need to buy watches, so I kind of interfere with what I'm saving for by just
Yeah.
buying things instead of, like, playing the long game, so I guess in that sense I do.
I had the temptation, like, there are watches that are so far beyond reach that I think it's okay to get placeholder watches.
Yeah.
Um, like, hear me out here. The Moser Green Dragon is a watch that I really love, right?
Yep.
I think it's probably not going to happen. It might eventually happen. I don't know. I doubt it. But I've considered the Pro Pilot X, the Oris Pro Pilot X, as an alternative, not because it's a one-to-one replacement for um, the Moses Streamliner Green Dragon, but I think, it has a feel about it that is
Mhm.
similar. I can't quite place it. I think it's, something to do with the way the bracelet feels. The Pro Pilot X, if you're not familiar with it, guys in the chat, it's a titanium piece. It's got like this airline seat belt buckle clasp on the strap.
Very
There's
cool
just
clasp.
yeah. It's funky, kind of like a Green Dragon, but the Green Dragon's far superior. I'm not equating the 2, but I think, if the Green Dragon were to happen, the Oris ProPilot X is kind of like a placeholder, at least in my mind. It feels
Yeah.
like it could be a placeholder. Um, I tend to make weird correlations, um, so don't, hold me to that. Like, the Zenith Defy Skyline 36 that I have right now was kind of my alternative to the Explorer 36. In my mind, it replaces the Explorer 36 in a sense, not quite in a watch to watch capacity, but
Yep.
it does what the Explorer 36 would have done for me. But at the same time, I think I could own the Skyline and the Explorer 36 in my collection, and it wouldn't compete with each other. But yeah, I tend to make those weird correlations, and feel free to call me out on that.
I did it
Uh,
with an homage early on, actually. I bought a steel
oh,
dive
okay.
Willard to see if I would like the case.
Ah,
I took a
interesting.
gamble on a cheapo steel dive Willard, and then I sold it. I was like, "Okay, yeah, I like this. I could wear the Willard, no problem."
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, I
Okay,
think that's
so
what some people do those things for, homages. I think people use them
yeah,
for that sometimes. I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on because we've only got 10 minutes or so
Yeah,
left.
boy. Or
Let's
Gabby. We haven't talked in a long time.
yeah, yeah. Again, probably could do this for hours. Undertune watch collector mentioning Archie Luxury advocates it's gotta hurt and HELOC, like home equity line of credit for a
Well, some
watch.
people say that, right? Like, yeah, I've heard, who's yeah, I think John Mayer in, like, one of his Talking Watches said that too, like, that when you buy a watch and it like, yeah, it hurts.
I agree. In a sense, I agree with this thought process, but not in the wrong way. Like home equity line of credit for a watch is insane. I don't know if Archie actually um condone that or if this was just a, underachieving watch collector playing a little bit. But um it hurting if you don't put the cart before the horse, right? Like if you work really hard and you save up those pennies, or those dollars, and you make it to a watch, it is so sweet, right? Um, it means a lot when you get that watch and you worked for that watch.
Yeah.
But I think if you put it on the credit card and then you're a slave to that watch until you pay off that credit card, if especially if you are stuck and you can't pay it off or something, and I think that is no,
Right.
no, yeah. So in terms of it's gotta hurt, I think there's a great satisfaction, on the sacrifice that you make or the hard work that you put in to be able to make it to that watch.
Yeah.
There's a satisfaction of accomplishment, I think. But definitely not when you're trapped in a credit card payments to pay for a watch. That's yeah, don't do that,
Well, the
please.
first luxury watches always hurt because, yeah, when we get in, we're not like the thought of spending multiple thousands of dollars on a watch just seems ludicrous because we always start kinda with inexpensive stuff, and then, yeah, that first luxury purchase, like, ooh, scary world entering, uncharted waters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've been mentioning emergency fund for watches is not how it's supposed to work. You're absolutely right, Wayman. That is not how it's supposed to work. Also, disclaimer, don't do that. It's not right. It's just how I've kind of rationalized sometimes making a purchase, especially recently when the Pelagos came out of nowhere. I had to dip into the emergency fund. Um, although we're good now. Um, hey, Tom's here. Hans Wilstork. Wearing the Black 58 tonight. Hey, there you
Yep.
go. Recently turned down a C-1250, he says.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Same
Very
reason, I think, 'cause it's
yeah.
just too big.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 50. Do you, I didn't know they made a 50. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Sea Dweller, so but yeah, well we gotta keep going. So
Oh,
hey
yeah,
hey
yeah.
Karen, good to see you. Keep getting caught in the chat and just talking. It's just so much fun. Okay, last video for the night. Steady Ticker, Dark Side of Watch Collecting. Have you heard of these guys before?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, it just popped up on my recommended, and I I wasn't too enthusiastic about this video at first. Um, Interesting editing going
Yeah.
on. They're
Quick
using a
quick
lot of
cuts.
footage. Yes, and a
Yeah.
lot of footage from YouTube. Like
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I saw Hafiz's videos. Um, Adrian definitely saw Britt Pearce's videos
Yep.
in there. Um, I
Watchfinder, maybe?
Yes, definitely
Yeah.
saw Watchfinder,
Yep.
definitely saw
Yep.
Watchfinder. So, I was a little torn on that, if that's okay or not okay, I'm sure and there was a lot of stock footage. I know you gotta pay for stock footage, right?
Yeah.
Or to have access to those stock footage videos. So yeah, I was a little torn. I was a little torn about the editing
They
technique,
didn't credit it.
editing. No, no, they didn't. I looked at the description as well.
Yeah.
But maybe I guess they could call it under free use or something, but I don't know. I don't know. But the video, do you wanna talk a bit about the video that they were talking
Sure.
about? A lot to
I
do with.
didn't take, like, super detailed notes, but,
Yeah,
yeah, so they just talk about, like, the hidden challenges and pitfalls of watch collection, kind of a continuation a little bit about what we've been talking about. They like, the hyper consumerism that we
yeah,
do with watches, and sometimes, the need to, like, when we're part of a group, on social media to fit in and
mhm,
maybe extend ourselves a little too far to fit in. Now, I've definitely felt, like, I don't know, you when somebody, like, in the group or whatever, or even, like, if you've bought a new watch or something, there is that, like, pang of jealousy a little bit, like, "Oh, I wish I bought a new watch." So, I
yeah,
mean, it usually is fleeting and doesn't make me actually, like, overextend or anything, but, like, I'd be lying if I said I don't feel that way. I certainly do. Um,
mhm,
but, yeah, so sometimes I think maybe people can get caught up in that when we all ourselves, and we know other people who add watches, pretty often,
yeah,
more often than any sane person probably would. So, but they said, never do that at the expense of financial well-being. And then they offered
mhm,
like four guidelines, kind of very similar to what Britt did. Self-discipline was the first one. Evaluate your financial health honestly, like have an honest look at your what you have coming out, what you have going in, and see what you
mhm,
can honestly do. Like that's not always comfortable when you do a real deep dive, an audit, if you will, of your
yeah,
finances. Sometimes there's things in there you don't want to know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
if you're really serious about being a financially healthy person, you'll do that, and then you'll spend on
mhm,
watches accordingly, and it might help outside of watches.
yeah,
You realize that, "Oh, wow, I spend $8 at Dunkin' Donuts every morning on a coffee and a bagel. Like, I can cut that stuff out." Like you said,
mhm,
you don't like to get lunch on the outside because it takes away from the watch fund. So, yeah, maybe
yeah,
it can you yeah, we just like Starbucks. So, yeah, we go there without even thinking about it sometimes. That adds up. That's real money. So,
it
um
does.
and, he says watches shouldn't be stressful, so when you have a better understanding of what you can comfortably spend, then it's not stressful, it's fun. We'd find a way to make it stressful, I'm sure. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good advice, right? Evaluating your financial situation, I think it's necessary to be able um to be able to purchase a watch without guilt, I guess, in a
Yeah,
sense. There's risk, I think. I don't know if I'm getting into another one of their points, but the risk, like if buying this watch would financially ruin you, right?
yeah,
Um, or losing the watch. Say you saved up for 10 years or something and you bought, say, the Moses Dreamliner, and then the next day it got smashed somehow. That
yeah.
that would be, that would be horrible, especially if it was 10 years of work, um, so having that look at your financial situation is probably really important. So, yeah,
Yeah,
very very good advice.
totally. Number 2, set a realistic budget and stick to it. Um You won't overspend, if you have a set amount that you're willing to spend every month. Impulse buys are our worst enemy. We both fall prey to those, as we have already said tonight. So, and then, you maybe it gives you a better idea of what you like, and maybe
Mhm.
a theme to your collection or something that is individual to you. Um, yeah, if you only have a certain amount you can spend, then you're not gonna just buy the next new shiny thing that catches your eye that, you're gonna fall out of love with in 2 weeks and sell for a loss, which
Yeah,
what I've done so many times.
yeah,
Um, and also have a separate account. for just for your watch money. Sometimes my money's in one account, and then I see like the number in there. I'm like, oh yeah, I have plenty of money. I can buy a watch, no problem. And that half of that money's already spent on something else, but it's in there, so
Yeah.
it's misleading. So yeah, having a separate
Yeah.
watch account, so it's an honest amount that you have dedicated towards watches. So do you do any of that stuff?
I'd like to. I don't right now, but I would definitely like to do that. Especially having yeah, having a set budget. I think you once you get over that, um again, there's if there is some sort of guilt that you're actually putting money aside for a watch per se, when you could be putting it towards something else that's more meaningful, at least in the grand scheme of things. Once you get over that, I think having a budget would make more sense. And when you have a
Yeah,
budget, you actually give yourself like that the ability to use that money for that purpose, right?
right.
So yeah, yeah, I'd like to do that. I think when I'm actually cognitively putting money aside for a watch, I think I'm like, I get that feeling of I could do I could actually put this money aside and say this is for this.
Yeah.
But then what happens is anyway, when the watch comes up, you forget everything and you're like, oh yeah, Pelagos 39. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, yep,
So
and I'll yeah.
yeah,
I
the
would like to do that too in a perfect world. Well, gosh, I went 2 months between the SJE and the, FXD, and sad to say that's, like, one of the longest stretches. That's really sad to admit, since I've been in the hobby, but, yeah, it's like, wow, I actually, like, saved some money doing that. If only I could go, like, 6 months without buying a watch, just imagine what could happen. So
mm, yeah, yeah.
all right, we gotta buzz through these.
Right.
Consider the value beyond the price tag, deeper aspects, significance of the watch, horological significance, the craftsmanship, emotional attachment. Was it an heirloom? Was it a gift?
Mm,
We've both been very fortunate to get gift watches. Like those hold a special place. Um, how does it complement your collection and your personality? Like that's a thing that I am really valuing lately. Like I know I get a lot of people make fun of me for the Fortis watch, but that's like a I like weird stuff. So that really that's like has a lot of meaning to me just 'cause I think it's cool. I think that's weird and cool. Whereas like a sub, a watch that is universally loved, really had no like staying power after the
mhm,
honeymoon. So like yeah, be individualistic, be yourself. You know, don't like going again to the hype pieces. Like
yeah,
yeah, there's if you like those watches, that's awesome, but don't feel like you have to buy those if you don't feel like you're drawn to them.
right. Yeah,
And I know you have, gift watches that you really hold hold near and dear to your heart.
right
Yep.
there.
Mario.
Yeah, below that is actually the watch gifted to me by Chaz.
Oh,
So,
the Bamford, right?
yeah, yeah.
You that
Yeah,
beautiful UN that you have?
yes, gifted by
Yeah,
Walt.
yep,
It's just yeah, those are I couldn't fathom parting with those.
right.
They mean so much, right? Um, but yeah, it makes sense because even the watches I've had a focus on and that I have purchased, I feel like those have kind of a special place as well. Uh,
Yep.
yeah, but time will tell. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, a good story, like the story of buying a watch too is if you have a
Yeah,
good like you have such a great experience at your relationship with your authorized dealer, like that's I know, and you don't sell them outside of there, which I think is still like keeping that relationship and those stories alive because you always have a great
yeah,
story coming out of it. So
right,
you
yeah,
do business with them, which is in and of itself is like a cool story. So
yeah, yeah. They know, yeah, and they know everyone in my family
right.
personally. So,
Your kids, you bring your kids with you, your wife with you.
yeah, yeah, it's a
And
good
then the
time.
last one here, real quick, is prioritize life goals above material goods. Shouldn't overshadow life goals and happiness. Watches are an accessory to a fulfilling life, not the main part of a fulfilling life. Yeah, this is one I need to,
Me
yeah,
too.
work on.
Me too.
Watches are
Yeah,
sort of a big deal in my life, which maybe they
yeah,
shouldn't be as big.
yeah.
But I
That
met all of
Cartier
you
Santos.
that way, so that's how I
Yeah, that's
rationalize
not.
it.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong about that, right?
Right.
Like, for me, the Cartier Santos right now is a life goal in a sense. Getting to that Cartier Santos. I mean, maybe it's not healthy, but because yeah, life is short,
Yeah.
and again, such great advice in this video. But I think the thing that kind of sullies it a little bit was all the B-roll footage. You know, it would
Yes.
have been so nice if they were just two guys chatting. I think if we could see them, and maybe it wouldn't have been as popular.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, great video.
Yeah, they probably worked harder on that video than they needed to, but made a
Right.
lot of, like, I noticed that, like, it was a lot of uncredited shots and then just quick cuts, like, it was a little it was, like, it was distracting. As I was taking notes, I was thinking like, "Wow, this is a hard video to take notes to because it's just distracting."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Well, yeah. It seems like they're starting out. They've got a decent following,
Yeah,
and
like
I
2K
guess
subs.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I think they're destined for big things, but
Yeah.
hopefully
Content-wise,
they
it was good.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Let's dip into the chat one more time. We're running behind a little. uh, let's see. Some hot takes on Archie here by Tom, saying Archie too poor for his watches. Um,
I
oh,
always
Waving
got
got
that
in.
sense, I don't know if that's true, but that's always
Yeah,
been my impression. No idea.
yeah, no idea. Waving said he got a selfie with Archie today. Not a fan, but he was standing by the door, so why not? um, there you go. Let's see. SoFi. So SoFi Bank, 4.5% APR. He has a
That's
separate savings for
yeah,
watch. There you go. High yield savings
that's right.
and not financial advice.
That's the only way to store your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being responsible buying a five-figure watch. It says under watch collector. Yeah. Yeah, we had that moral quandary as well.
Yeah.
um, MD Chaz here with a good roll. He says watch collection shouldn't be no more than 1% of your net worth. I don't know where I fall on that. I'd have to check. But probably about the 1% mark by a good margin. Hans also Tom saying failing by that rule. Well, guys, it's been a fun night
Wow.
of watch souping. Flew by.
Yeah.
Not fair that it's already 10:15. Clayton, do you have anything you'd like to plug before we call it a night?
Yes, I will hopefully be getting a podcast done. I recorded half of it today, and I have one more thing I wanna talk about. So, yeah, hopefully I've been saying this and then I never get to it, but I'm hoping this week, maybe tomorrow, I'll get it
Yeah,
out. Record it should take about 20 minutes to record the other half, and I already edited the first half too. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Sounds good.
How about you?
Uh, so many videos I'd love to do. I want to do. I'm past the mark of needing or wanting to do the review on, say, the Zenit Defy, Seiko SJE 093. It's just quite a few videos I do want to do. There's a couple in the back burner that I need to edit and get out. Um, so I hope to do that this week. Some of it at least. Chances are slim that I will. But Saturday Night Watch Talk is going to happen Saturday night at 9 p.m. So feel free to join us then.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. You guys are the best. Remember, you're infinitely valuable. You really, truly are. Great price has been paid for you, as I like to say. um, all right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Good
Have a
night.
good night. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.